Okay. You will soon understand my whole point in making this video after you watch this video. I will shrink myself down so we can together witness this video together. Let me make sure my volume's all the way up. And we will click to watch this video. I have watched it while I was doing the dishes, and I think you should watch it. Sorry, there is some language like it says the F word once, but this is important. Now watch.
This is President Joe Biden. During a town hall on February 16th, Biden spoke to a little girl from Milwaukee about whether she needs a COVID vaccine.
First of all, kids don't get COVID very often. It's unusual for that to happen. They don't, and the evidence so far is children aren't the people most likely to get COVID, number one. Number two, we haven't even done tests yet on children as to whether or not the certain vaccines would work or not work or what is needed.
So Biden is saying that young children don't need the vaccine because they really don't catch COVID. Furthermore, we don't even know if the vaccine would work on them anyway.
So you're the safest group of people in the whole world.
Yeah, we've known this for months and months. And here's a recent example. In a research letter published in the New England Journal of Medicine, doctors in Sweden found that between March and June of 2020, of the 1.95 million children 1 to 16 years of age, only 15 tested positive for COVID-19. And thankfully, among this age group, there were no deaths.
Number two, you're not likely to be able to be exposed to something and spread it to mommy or daddy. And it's not likely mommy and daddy are able to spread it to you either. So I wouldn't worry about it, baby, I promise you.
So if it's unlikely that mommy and daddy will spread it to their kids, and kids will unlikely spread it to them, then the same goes for teachers, right? And that's why the CDC director, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, said the following back on February 3rd.
I want to be very clear about schools, which is, yes, ACIP has put teachers in the 1B category, the category of essential workers. I would also say that safe reopening of schools is not, that vaccination of teachers is not a prerequisite for safe reopening of schools.
So while it's being recommended that teachers could be treated as essential workers and allow them to get the vaccine quicker, it's not required. And that means that schools can open up sooner without teachers having to wait to get the vaccine. Because remember, between now and the summer, vaccine availability is limited and needs to be saved for more vulnerable folks. And that doesn't necessarily include teachers, because if kids aren't spreading it to them, they are less vulnerable. And even though Democrats are supposed to be the party of science, Dr. Walensky's comment shook the teachers' unions. Watch how skeptical MSNBC's Rachel Maddow is on the subject.
I know a lot of teachers, and I feel like teachers are worried that even if kids aren't necessarily at high risk, if they get infected at school, many of the teachers feel like they are at high risk.
You see that, right? Maddow is questioning the science lady and stating that teachers feel like they are at high risk despite data to the contrary. You can ignore reality all you want, but facts don't care about your feelings. Oh, fuck.
Why isn't it a prerequisite for safe reopening for teachers to get the vaccine?
The data suggests, the science suggests that there is not a lot of transmission happening in schools. And in fact, the case rates in schools are generally lower than they are in the population surrounding it.
Let me repeat that. The head of the CDC says that the data and the science suggest that there's not a lot of transmission happening in schools and that schools are safer than the surrounding community. This should be reassuring news, right? Yeah, not so fast.
Yesterday, the head of the CDC, as you know, said that it was safe to reopen schools without vaccinating teachers. You said that the White House was still waiting for the official guidance before making a final determination. Why isn't what the director of the CDC says, why isn't that enough?
Well, first, the director of the CDC also has said they haven't issued their final guidance, and we, of course, wait for that process to complete and see its way through, as she would say as well. And he wants health and medical experts to be the guides for how we should do exactly that.
But isn't Dr. Walensky a health and medical expert? Why is the White House even questioning this?
So we're just not. Dr. Walensky spoke to this in her personal capacity. Obviously, she's the head of the CDC, but we're going to wait for the final guidance to come out so we can use that as a guide for schools around the country.
Personal capacity? Dr. Walensky said it during a formal briefing. Jen Psaki is absolutely terrible at her job.
If it comes down to a binary choice, and there's no indication that, the teachers union in Chicago or San Francisco are willing to budge at this point, if it comes down to a binary choice, who would the president choose, the kids or the teachers?
I think that's a little bit unfair how you pose that question, but I will say the president believes schools should be open. Teachers want schools to be open.
The teachers want schools to be open, then why, say for example, is the San Francisco Teachers Union demanding that teachers need to be vaccinated before they step back into a classroom? But you know what they say, follow the science until it suggests that you can go back to work. Anyway, days later, the CDC guidance was released and echoed Dr. Walensky's statement that schools can reopen without teachers having to be vaccinated.
Is it clear now that when teachers' unions insist and continue to insist that all teachers, all staff must be vaccinated before any schools can reopen, that that's not based on science?
From a scientific standpoint, we know that it's possible to reopen schools safely without all of the teachers being vaccinated.
So the Biden administration has promised that their decisions and policy would be based on science. And even though Dr. Walensky has been very clear in her statement about teachers and vaccinations, suddenly the White House can't answer simple questions. Here is the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris.
The CDC has said it is not a prerequisite for teachers to be vaccinated for them to go back to school. But many teachers are wary of going back to school. And we've had some cities have to sue the teachers union or sue their own school districts to try to get these schools to reopen. Can you reassure teachers who are listening right now that it is safe for them to go back to school even if they are not vaccinated?
So first of all, let me just say this, and the president has said it, and we're all really clear. Teachers should be a priority. Teachers should be a priority along with other frontline workers, and we're going to make them a priority. I believe that up to 22 states, have prioritized teachers in terms of vaccinations.
But the states have is it safe for them?
Well, I think that we have to decide if we can put in place safe measures.
The CDC's guidance on safely reopening schools, which includes masking, social distancing, ventilation, has practically been the same since at least September. So, A, why is Harris saying that we have to decide if we can put these safe measures in place? And B, why is Harris not answering the question?
I don't want to beat it to death, but I know there are teachers listening, and the CDC has said they don't have to be vaccinated to go back to school.
We think they should be a priority. We think they should be a priority.
If Vice President Harris was an actual leader, she would say, yes, it is safe for teachers to return to the classroom. But instead, the Biden administration doesn't want to offend the teachers' unions. Anyway, if you think that Harris was bad, here's her senior advisor and spokeswoman, Simone Sanders.
I'm wondering if you can help clear something up here, because the answers on this...
Before we continue, her haircut! Dude, it makes her head look... Her haircut is like off to the side. It's just, I couldn't, it's funny, her haircut.
Have been hard to come by. Does the White House, does the president think that K-8 schools can reopen even if teachers have not been vaccinated?
By the end of the first 100 days, which is around April 30th, the president and vice president do believe that the majority of K-8 schools will be able to be reopened and operating safely.
The question was, does the White House agree with the recommendation that teachers can go back to school before being vaccinated?
It's not a trick question, and I feel like you guys have treated it like a trick question. I think people just want to know what the White House position is on whether or not teachers have to be vaccinated for kids to return safely to school. The CDC director, Rochelle Walensky, says the science is that teachers don't necessarily have to be vaccinated for kids to return. And I think people want to know what the White House position is on that.
That is as straightforward a question as you can get. Now watch Simone Sanders totally not answer it.
The White House position is that, and the president and vice president believe that teachers should be prioritized for receiving the vaccination along with other frontline workers.
The look on John Berman's face says it all. Why can't this woman answer a simple question? You know, and to his credit, he kept pushing back.
Prioritize is one thing, and I think there's wide agreement they should be prioritized, and why not? Is it necessary, though? That's the question. It really is a yes-no question.
Well, John, I think the real question, frankly, if I can be frank here, is what you're getting to is it safe for kids to go back to school? And the president and vice
actually
president...
not. In this case, that's not the question. The question is it safe for teachers to go back to school? I don't understand why it's a hard question to answer. It may be that you want every teacher to be vaccinated. It may be the answer is, yeah, teachers should, if they can, be vaccinated before they return to school, but it's not necessary.
Well, John, I think the president has been clear, the vice president has been clear, and I think I was really clear just now that it is the administration's position, the president and vice president believe that teachers should be prioritized for vaccinations.
I'll try one last time.
Holy shit.
Yes or no?
The president believes that teachers should be prioritized for vaccination. His wife, Dr. Biden, the first lady, is a teacher. He knows the importance of teachers being in the classroom. The president and vice president also know, John, that teaching for many people is not just what they do, it is who they are. It is a calling. And teachers want to be in the classroom. Parents want students in the classroom. And we want to do so safely and operating according to the science.
All right. I'm not going to get a yes or no on that.
No, you're not, John Berman. No, you're not. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.
Okay, that was the video I wanted to show you guys to give you a little bit of information on that. Now, I just got to do a little bit of research here. I'll go to the chat quick just to check that out. Hello. So this is a thing by Awesome, and this is from, oh no, this is from March. I need something newer. But they said during that time, only 4 states were left open for students to be in school altogether. But they started saying things. Now, the way my brother had originally done it was all digital up until a certain point. Then it was, they had a certain day they went in one day, and it was all done by last name, alphabetically by, like, last name and all that, like, and stuff like that. But I'll show you a little more on my school that I went to, and I feel bad for these kids, come on. They are not getting the education they deserve. But, here, Kentucky, under an executive order issued by Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, all public and private schools K through 12 ceased in-person teaching from November 23rd. Yeah. Yes, I had to look at the definition of cease just to make sure I was clear on. But they were told they could not do in person as of November 23rd. So, that is one state. No in person. I'm going to draw a little thing here. I'm going to put hybrid in person. I'm gonna remember. So West Virginia. Basically, all in-person instruction and private and public pre-K through 12 schools throughout the state have been banned from Thanksgiving to December 2nd. Migrate to a potential for transmission classroom order notice. This was posted 11/30/20 of the 20th. Which basically means they ceased to have the in-person up till December 2nd, so they could have had a hybrid. I want to find something a little bit up to date. There I want to find one that's more up to date. There we go. This one should tell me. Oh no, this is. Well, let's just go on the rim. That dang, I gotta check my phone in a minute. But, that's regardless of my main point here. So, I'm gonna read to you a list. Okay? I actually have to pull up another video by, Ryan George. I have to show you this one video here by Ryan George. When I can get it to you, aha. I have to get it and then I have to quickly pause it. Okay. So, this is another video that I have to show you guys. Let me just shrink myself down here quickly. I have to show you this video because this gives me my next point. So here you go, let's go.
This video is sponsored by Sheets and Giggles. More about them at the end of the sketch. Hi there, young man. Hello. Oh, hey, I don't know you. I'm one of the people that people decided decides things. Oh, okay. So good news, you're gonna listen to this guy a lot now, I decided, okay? Hi. What? Why? Well, because me and him, we're gonna die. Oh, my God. What, right now? No, probably not right now, but eventually, you know, everybody our age is gonna die. Oh, because of time and stuff? Exactly. Very good. So this guy's gonna tell you the stuff that we know, so you know it by the time we're all dead, okay? Kind of dark. Yeah, it's a little morbid. Try not to think about that part too much. But then this way you could tell it to people that are younger than you one day, and then you'll die too. Well, I mean, we need people to continue knowing stuff, right? It'd be a lot of work if they have to start over at zero every generation. But it's not just about passing on information after we're dead, you know? This is also to prepare you for your life. Oh, well, that part sounds kind of nice, so I'll be prepared for anything I want to do. Not really, no. You'll have a base of understanding, but you'll be pretty dumb still. Okay. But I'll be able to get a job? Now, you need experience to get a job. This isn't going to give you experience. Well, how do I get experience? You need to get a job. Oh! So yeah, you're going to listen to this guy tell you things, okay? And you're going to listen attentively every day. Could I have some money for pencils? No. Okay. Wait, is this like an everyday thing? Pretty much, yeah. Almost every day of the week, you'll have to work on stuff for several hours. Oh, no. But at the end of the day, you'll go home. Okay. But don't worry, he'll give you some stuff to work on there, too. What? Yeah, that will be a thing. Hey, could I have some money for paper? Nope. Oh, and also he's going to check in once in a while to make sure you've been listening properly. That's right, we're gonna have these things called exams. What's that? That's gonna be the stressful thing where I make sure you've been listening. We're also gonna have tests. Tests? That's gonna be the stressful thing where I make sure you've been listening. We're also gonna have quizzes. Quizzes? That's gonna be the stressful thing where I make sure you've been listening, but sometimes those are gonna be a surprise. Oh, that's fun. Oh, that doesn't sound like a fun surprise. I can say the word pop before those sometimes. Would that help? Not really, no. Well, we need to pretty much keep you stressed out and on edge. That's good practice for when you're older. Hey, could I have some resources for when I get stressed out? No. All right. So, okay, I don't really like the sound of this. Oh, it's non-negotiable. How long is this gonna last? Years. Oh, no. Hey, can I have some money for... Look, I'm not really gonna give you money for that kind of stuff, okay? So lay off. Just try being more passionate about your work. What does that even mean? I don't know. Maybe buy the stuff you need with the money we'll be paying you for your time. Oh, so you're gonna pay me so much I can afford to just buy those things myself? No. Oh. This is like a year-round thing? Like, just all the time? Well, no, you get 2 days off a week, and then obviously the summer is just completely off. Why? Because of farming? Yeah, there you go. Because you gotta do some farming. I don't do that. Nobody I know does that. Because it gets hot in the summer, okay? Rich people want to go to their lake houses. Is that why? Well, that doesn't seem fair to poor people. Look, do you want summers off or not? Yeah, no, I'll take them.
Okay, that was my second video that I had to include. So the reason I had that was because it's a transition about the line, so I'll have life skills to get a job. No, you'll need experience, okay? If you want to do the entry-level jobs, an entry-level job is a position that requires basic skills and little job experience to obtain. These jobs are typically sought out by recent college grads or individuals who are seeking a new career path. For examples of some examples of entry-level jobs are retail sales associate, cashier, bank tellers, customer service reps, delivery drivers, insurance agents, restaurant service, Ember, I'm looking at freaking pronounce some things, but junior marketing associate, registered nurse, teacher, accountant, technical writer, and administrative assistant. One of those is a cashier. It's a cashier, a job that working at like diddly squat Walmart. You need experience for. That's a small, just a general thing. Now, this thing was just telling you, basically level entry jobs. They require experience. I'm just gonna look up list of entry level jobs that require experience. List easiest. What are the easiest jobs with no experience? Literally all of these were listed as needed. So, that's number one. We do not teach our students enough to get through school. We also do not teach them enough to get by in life, because there are skills that you do not know and will not know for a majority of your life. And I will get more into some of the aspects of what is going on with divorce rates here in America and with children, okay? Personal finance. Before I actually get more into this, I couldn't find the amount of parents that work 2 jobs, like, say, your mom or dad, like, one of them, instead of, like, both of them can work, but one of your parents does, like, 2 jobs, say, like, they work their main job, and then they have, like, they mow lawns, or they plow driveways and shovel driveways to make money that they do another job. Like, my dad does the county, and then goes and does the first aid, which is his second job. But back to the list. Personal finance, relationship values, mindfulness. Like, mindfulness can develop skills for concentration, impulse control. It would help young people and old people too to better manage their worrying thoughts and discover how the brain and mind really work. And if you can better manage your worried thoughts, you cannot have people committing suicide as much. And schools tell you that suicide is bad, you shouldn't do it. Yet it continues to happen because people are scared and worried and don't want to face life. Number one thing. Oh, I was just thinking about number one thing is survival skills. Now, we did have survival science in my school. I did not take that because I did Osterbosies, but they still it was a extra class. And they say think of simple mechanic skills, first aid, shelter, and fire building, food, foraging, and self-defense. Now, the one class, it was a personal fitness class. It was like the alternative to gym where you could focus. There was things that you had to do in that class, but it was more focused on yourself. And one of the things that we learned was self-defense. I was told by my gym teacher that the reason they don't teach it in the regular classes is because some parents don't want their children to learn that. And I was like, so what you're saying is parents don't want their children to be safe. It's like, I know it don't make sense, but that's the truth. And last year, in the previous school year when I was in 11th grade, I signed up to do personal fitness for the third year in a row. They removed the class as a class and had people do regular gym. Okay. Mental health. Basically, stress management skills, which could also help people not commit suicide. Symptoms of depression and addiction. 2 things that can lead to death and suicide. And just learning how to have frank and open conversations about our mental state. How our mental state could be a good about how our mental state could only be a good thing. Sustainable living, educating youth about climate change.
All right, you got it?
Yeah.
So do that.
Sorry about that. It's something about family and stuff, but I may talk about it sometime on the channel when I'll just say it's one of my cousins on my mom's side. That's as far as I'm gonna go. You've only seen 2 of them on this channel. Actually, probably maybe 3. I don't know if 3, but you've seen 2. And they're both brothers. So, but sustainable educating the youth about climate change, states and cause, how to enjoy an eco-friendly lifestyle by eating local, seasonal food, and eco-friendly products can go a long way. Human rights, teaching children about their human rights. Applied math, sociology and anthropology, learning about different cultures, races, gender theories, social classes, and how politics and society mix is really interesting for young people to study and will broaden their minds to hopefully constantly questioning the world around them. Number 1. Well, there's number 10. Nutrition. Those are just a few things. Like, there's things we don't need anymore, and I know people can argue up and down, left and right, all day about, algebra as not being needed. Now, I haven't done algebra since 10th grade. It's last year that you have to take it. Once you take the New York State Regents, which is now going to be probably obsolete, like I said in one of my other videos, you basically just go into, you go into nothing. So, pretty much, you go in, I haven't used it. Literally, never used it. I never used earth science, biology. Now, I have used history and world history, which is, I think it's like, oh, why can't I think of it? There's a specific name, but I can't remember it off. But I use those. Those are things I use. I can mention, oh yeah, there was this thing that happened, and this, like, I've mentioned, when someone's mentioned something about history repeating themselves, I mentioned the Armenian genocide, which was similar to the Holocaust, and how Hitler used that against people that no one cared about that, so history can repeat itself, and will repeat itself. But those are a few of the only things I've really used. I'm not saying that math altogether is bad. I'm not, and I think once you get to a certain point, I think once you hit algebra and you stop learning basic math, like adding and subtracting fractions, I don't remember that much to do it, but there are calculators for that, but it is good to know that stuff for cooking. And that's the thing that sucks, is if you do like home and careers, which you do a little bit of cooking in. Not much, but you do a little bit of cooking, you learn a little bit of how to like sew a button and stuff like that, stuff that you could really use in real life. And with this pandemic, all of that goes out the freaking window. And as you saw in that video, according to the president and the vice president, teachers are an essential. They are essential. So why are schools closed across this country? People doing it virtually. And according to the president of the United States, if I can find this video, you have to find this video. Let's see if I can find this video. I want to just find just the clip by itself. I'm trying to find it here. I need to search this week because I need to find this clip. It is very vital to my point of what I'm gonna say about schools and other things. I'm trying to find this clip here, but it seems like the YouTubes have removed this clip. But I'm trying to find it because it goes with the point. I'm just gonna click one of these videos. This is also someone I am subscribed to. I hopefully he has like a video in his description. I do think it is important to put them in your description. But let's just watch this video here. Let's watch it. We're gonna watch this video clip right here. Okay? It's about 6 minutes. We'll watch it and you'll get to see that. Okay. Let's watch. See his point of view on it. Yeah.
Oh no! Oh no! No! My skin tone's different. Oh no! Oh, how will I ever use the internet? How can I ever go online? Did you hear what Joe Biden said? Did you hear it? Did you hear everything he said out of his mouth? Since he's the president of the United States, he should know everything. Oh, let me play this video.
A lot of people don't know how to register. Not everybody in the community, in the Hispanic and the African American community, particularly in rural areas that are distant and or inner city districts, know how to get online to determine how to get in line for that COVID vaccination at the Walgreens or at the particular.
Oh, Uncle Joe. Oh, how could you say that about me?
Okay, that's really all you need to see about that clip. You don't need to see much more. The rest of the video isn't that important. He could just be talking in a general sense about the vaccine, but let me mind you, if he is saying that, then there should be a lot of people unable to participate with online school due to there being Hispanic. And I talked about this, I think in my last video, about my school, the school I went to, and the demographics. So you can go check that out in my last not my last video, my video before that. But all I'm saying is, like, geez, the president of the United States said that? Like, oh my gosh. Gee, you gotta calm down. Like, he's saying the schools are essential, teachers are essential workers. Then why are students going through, I gotta pull up my school, my past school that I went to, and show you something. And I'll give you a little bit of explanation towards what this is. So, I will pull this up. I'm not gonna show you it exactly, but this says, "Dear Aunt Your Families, in an email I sent out in December, I noted that if we come to the point where we have to use all our emergency closing days, aka snow days, we would consider pivoting during an emergency to remote instruction instead of closing schools." This was yesterday. As of today, we use all of our snow days. We have been monitoring the situation, and our faculty is prepared to pivot to remote learning if we are unable to have in-person instruction due to inclement weather. Concerns about the quality remain in the forefront of our minds, as we are all aware in our community when we experience climate weather, there are often internet or power outage. We are all understanding of the issues that we experience in this rural community. Our hope is to provide continuity of instruction for our students. Now, if that is the reason of having these snow days in the first place, I want an explanation of why you decide to change your mind, or even have the thought in your head before all of them were used. Now, I can go to the school, I can go to our district. I'm not showing you this, but I can then go to district snow days, and tell you exactly when the snow days, and they have it listed. If more than 7 snow days are used, the extra snow days will be made up March 9th and April 5th. Why are those listed if you decided to change your mind? 12/17/2020 was the first snow day used. The next snow day was January 26th, 2021. Then we had the first and 2nd of February. Then the 9th, 16th, and the 18th of February, using up all 7 snow days. But they decided to change their mind, knowing the power could go out, knowing that families may work and everything, and that children have a need to go out and shovel their driveway or have a responsibility during a storm. And it's not just the power going out, the internet could just go out. So apparently that is something that can be done. I didn't know this. Glad I have graduated, because I do not like the idea of having even the snow days, because I thought that was ridiculous. And today, guess what they called? A 2-hour delay. They called a 2-hour delay. I'll see if it'll pop up and I'll show you. Oh, it didn't show up. But a 2-hour delay did show up. Okay? I want to make that very clear. My brother was put on a 2-hour delay, even though they could have just went to the remote learning altogether. Because that's what they did in the first place. It was a 2-hour delay, remote learning. They were going remote learning with a 2-hour delay schedule all around the clock. Even if that changed and they decided, oh, we're just going to go straight to remote learning, but we're going to stick to the 2-hour delay schedule, eliminate 2-hour delays. If there would be a 2-hour delay, remote learning. That simple. That's what is confusing me. Like, it makes no sense. And yet they say that they're essential. Okay. So, those students and the teachers' jobs are essential. Essential for what? Teaching stuff that's useless, that's never going to get used ever? That you're never going to need to know on a daily basis? I had my teacher at BOCES, Tanis, who was one of the best teachers I've had. There's a few. I don't say one's better than the other. I might say one's a little better, but I'm not saying they're entirely better. They're better for different reasons. And he said that since he's been out of school, he went to college, tried to be in a band, do all that, has been a teacher, and done various things in life, and said that algebra is just useless. You're never going to use it. And I forget how old he is. I think somewhere between 40, 50. So, he knows what he's talking about. He has kids, and older and younger, one who's in college, and one who has ADHD and all that, and stuff like that. But, so he understands where he's coming from, and he's a teacher. He's in the school system. His wife is also a teacher who teaches special ed students. So they know what it's like to teach kids. Both on the regular, he has taught regular students, and to teach special ed students at the same time. Very severe special ed students. Like, I mean, very special to the point of stripping butt naked, running through the hallways, and hiding on the principal and teacher. It sounds funny, but it ain't funny to the teacher and the principals that have to see the child bare ass naked. Sorry for the language, but that's stuff he said that happened. And to the point where he doesn't even ask his wife what's happened anymore. He just lets her be. Okay? And, like, it's very saddening that I know BOCES is probably not doing as well. I still haven't gotten a message back from my teacher, but he's not one to be good at emailing and also been probably very busy because they only go on Wednesdays. So, I want to look at just the general, like, calendar for basically for the year. And then I want to get every Wednesday that they are off on. So, I'm going to go back to, they started school on a Wednesday. Completely all students on a Wednesday, and then they had every Wednesday was off. Every Wednesday was off. They had it switching they had like September 15th was an A day, September 17th was a B day, and the 18th of September was an A day. Then they transitioned by the second full week in October to having every other day B day, like the B and A or B day. So they had the 11th of November. I'm going to put day. Actually, no. They've had every Wednesday off. I'm not looking for just holidays. So they've only had unincluded one Wednesday throughout the month that was not a school day. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is counting all the kids that don't go to BOCES. So that's was 2. I'm just counting here. So, altogether, 33 days. The students have 33 days off, okay? 33 days. It's 33 days off. Wednesday. And even if you do BOCES and you don't go to BOCES, I don't know how that quite works, but I also want to look up U.S. school holidays. I want to know the number, how many holidays. Okay, I want to search. I don't care about how many holidays do U.S. schools have off? So, the United States also has several holidays off at Thanksgiving and for Christmas. Like, you get the whole week off. So, there's a lot of days I just want to grab my phone for various reasons. There's family things that I gotta do at the moment, and other various things like Instagram. Someone was trying to message me, but it's kind of important family matters that I don't think I can speak of. About my phone is still saying it's a 15%, but it's kind of important info. I can grab my thing for my computer, grab my phone charger, and charge my phone through my laptop. Still do this. It's some stuff about my cousin. I'll ask him at some point when he's okay about me talking about it. Okay, all I gotta do is message my cousin and say, "Yo, what's poppin', bruh? You're doing great." Slow on the message, I'm gonna be like, "Sup? What's poppin', dude? What's poppin', bro?" That's literally what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say it. Yo, what's poppin', dude? You're doing great? And now I erase. I get out of this. No, click here. And then I erase the G. And then I just put you. Yo, what's poppin', dude? You doing great? Said with a Boston accent. In quotations. No, in like parentheses. Said in a Boston accent. LOL. He was on an hour ago, but let's just see. So someone else was trying to message me. I don't know who. Oh. I'll accept. Confused. I don't remember who this person is. I don't have any real memory. But as I was saying is, like, the things that I've seen during the school system, the amount of days that's just for, at least for the school my brother goes to. They have 33 days off. Now, these days can be used to make work and everything, but someone like my brother who has time between classes and being the teachers aren't going to give the most hard work, they didn't have midterms, they're not going to have finals, because there's no way of guaranteeing a student to not cheat. They do have tests done online if they're using, like, say, Chromebooks. There is availability to allow locking, so they can lock who you, like, they can lock when you leave. So, like, you can't leave the page or open up another web page. The only thing they don't intend is if you are at home and have two computers or a cell phone, you can easily search the answers. And you can't make the quiz timed because someone who needs stuff, and there is laws. So there's like kids with an IEP who get their tests read or something. Like if your parents are working and there is no one to read you that said test, there is the option to click and have it read to you, but then you get a slow, robotic, unhuman voice that just doesn't work or fit well. But there is something I was looking for. So that didn't help me at all. So what I'm trying to find out, there was something my grandmother was telling me. That basically said that kids with an IEP were required to, like, she wasn't sure how many days. Basically we're saying that, okay. And this is where they get into this a little bit here. What if if a parent or adult child does not agree with the evaluations that are completed? That's not what I was looking for. There was something I was looking more for. What are the requirements if a child is put on a shortened or averted school day? If it so basically what it says is the team must develop a re-entry plan for the child return to school. The return must be in with 45 calendar days, but that's probably not what I'm looking for. It says if the child is unable to return to school full time within 45 calendar days and remains on abbreviated school day, the team must meet every 20 days to review the child's progress toward returning. If the child is not, then they'll meet every 90 days. Just trying to see how. It's not one. Okay. As I was saying here is, now what I'm trying to look at is Oh, my cousin didn't message me. But I was trying to find something because there was, I don't know which one, if it's a 504 or because there was a thing that said they had to be in, they required that certain ones required the students to be in school, basically a certain number of days a week. I can't find anything on it, but if that is true, there's a lot of info on different things that are about a week, but if that is true, then that kind of sucks. Now you might say, well, when you said the list of stuff that was about just messaging a friend. But the thing is, basically, this is a little bit of a timeline list thing that is kind of not like a timeline, but a list thing that's a kind of not really a list, but a thing. Yeah. So, in America, 36.6% of marriages end in divorce. 21% of kids are raised without the father, and 25% of children go through divorce. Now, throughout my schooling, I have known a lot of my cousins, pretty much most of my cousins, have not had their father in their life, like a divorce. Like, they got married and a divorce. My own aunt had been divorced twice. Not with kids. And everything. Like, no joke, being serious. A lot of my family is that way, divorced, and even on my dad's side, a lot of I don't think they've been married, but the parents are separated, and they're not seeing the parents as much as they need to. And I've had a lot of friends, like my friend Sam, his mom and dad were divorced. But being the school he went to, he was with his dad most of the time, and his mom on like the weekends. And now he's with his mom full time due to his dad sadly being passed away. But as I'm saying, it's sorry, I'm messaging someone semi-important, but what I've noticed is a lot of people are divorced. Even my own father, his my own dad, I'm not gonna say father, but dad, his father basically got a divorce and lived separate. So that happened. So that does happen quite often. Like Damater, who used to be known as the hacker, YT, his own father isn't in his life. He does have a father figure in his life. Now, that is one thing I didn't look up, but it's really not that important because if 21% are raised without the father, and that's kind of sad when I've known a lot of people to not have their father, or at least have their father in their life because of being in prison or stuff like that. But stuff like that, and to me that says something because the father can't teach certain things that a father is supposed to teach. And if the mother doesn't have a high paying job, then they have to work 2 jobs and they're not home as much, and with the amount of homework, you can get up to 7 hours of homework at time. Students can get up to 7 hours of extra homework, depending on the school and all that. Like, I don't know if we'll ever know during the pandemic, but to be exact, I just don't. Brenda, if when she's done, it works better to talk after. But as I was saying, they're not able to learn the necessary things they need, and if even someone like me, if you have a father that basically is rarely home and works around the clock, and even when you were younger, you were either in trouble or, like, a lot of kids can get into trouble and that, but or you were doing homework. You didn't have time for your father to teach you how to do things like your taxes and different things that people use as an argument to say that school shouldn't teach this thing because your parents can teach you. But even then, some parents don't know how to do these things because they were never taught themselves and stuff like that. And that's the thing that sucks. And that's what I have to say is anything that the school system in America doesn't teach you, you're out of luck. You don't learn anything. You don't learn anything for real life. Like, you learn how to read, write, stuff like that. You learn a little bit of cooking, a little bit on mental health here, but not as in depth as you should. Now, I do think once you hit 11th grade, now, I think 7th and 8th grade should be U.S. history. You should go up to a certain point around the start of, like, the Civil War. Like, you learn about everything up till the Civil War in, like, great detail. And then it's from the Civil War up until, like, 9/11 is what you learn the next year. Or something like that. Then you learn that. Then from, it would be from 9th to 10th grade. Sorry. You learn about world history. Not as in depth, but that's what you learn about. Then, then once you get into 11th, and through 11th and 12th, you learn about the presidential candidates, current events, and you focus on current events. You learn on current events, and you learn about how the government works during that time. Oh, it's very sore right here. Oh, that hurts. Why does it hurt? Could be from my glasses rubbing up against there, but that's not my point. But my main point is, that's how it should work, and that's based on my school does. You learn about U.S. history twice. One is shorter than the other. And once you hit 11th grade, but that's due to how New York State works for testing, which might end, and that's a guarantee in my book, because you can't have someone like my brother next year, if they do a majority of it in person, start doing regents when the next grade up didn't, then when the 10th graders didn't do regents in 9th grade, and kids that were in 10th grade last year when they removed the regents, that are in 11th grade this year that don't have to do the regents, don't have to do 2 tests. So that's people from 9th grade, from 10th grade in 2020, and now in 11th grade in 2021, and that's where the testing works for the New York State regions, is from 9th to 10th, where you do in 9th grade, you do biology, and then in the next year you do earth science, then you do earth science and world history, and then you do then you do and math, and then in 11th grade you do English, U.S. history, and I think that's it. Those are the only 2 you do then, and that's the last year you have to take one, unless you have a class that requires that. But it means someone in 10th grade in 2020 that is now in 11th grade does not have to take 2 tests, making that unfair to the other students. And you might be like, well, that's just them. School isn't completely fair to everybody, and it's a test that would have to be taken. But they didn't find a way to do the test. They just said, no, we're not going to require it, and those students aren't going to have to take that. So you would have the 12th graders, I'm just writing this down, the 12th graders now, who were in 11th grade in 2020, that didn't have to take their last couple of regents. Then you have the people in 11th and 12 and 11th and 10 who are in 11th now, who don't have to take their test, who were in 10th grade last year who didn't have to take their test. And there are 9th graders from 2020 that are now in 10th grade that didn't have to take their 9th grade regents, that now don't have to take the 10th grade regents, and would only have to do the 11th grade if they do them. That's if they do them. I know this may sound a little confusing, but there are grades that didn't have to do certain regions because of what's going on. You may say, well, that's just a pandemic. But when a test is rigged, like I said before, to the point where you go to take that test and you don't know what is on that test due to the fact that you didn't learn that stuff, and it's not just, say, because of being in special ed, you're in special ed, you didn't learn that. No, there were regular ed kids I talked to that we could, no, I can't say it now, but we could say the question, or say, who the heck was this person? Why would they even hear? Like, it made no sense. Like, some of the stuff in the earth science made no sense. We didn't learn any of it. And it was a lot of questions. And like we could remember the questions. And I failed that one because of probably those questions tossed in to know if the school, and it's a bad way of teaching, to learn, knowing if the schools can teach what the students are supposed to. What they're supposed to teach you is real life stuff to get you to learn about real life. Not just, here, we'll give you some algebra, we'll give you some of this and that you're never going to use, but we'll give it to you anyways. And we're not going to upgrade the way we teach, the way, like, what we teach. Dude, we'll slightly do it where we'll teach typing and other things, but we're not going to teach you how to function in real life. Like, I'm glad I got a job that isn't that difficult. Yet it pretty much is difficult for some people, because there's currently people who have worked for us that have either quit and we're going to be fired, that did not know how to do their job at all. They did not know at all how to do it. When I got hired, there was a lady who was working there who could not do her job at all, could not learn a dang thing, and it was like super difficult. She couldn't do a dang diddly darn thing, period. And then we hired another person who worked out until she had to leave due to not being able to stay at her ex's house, stuff like that. But and having a place to live, or really a ride because she got in a car accident and didn't have a vehicle, stuff like that. So she had to move back with her mom because she got her leg one of her legs was amputated, so they needed help with that. So it was just circumstance, stuff like that. And it's like, I'm lucky enough to have that job. It's a very easy job, and I want YouTube to be my job because I enjoy doing it. There's a lot of benefits when all this is over and we can take the masks off and actually enjoy life again. I think that I want to be able to travel across the country, meet people. Can we not talk about this right now? Not DMing at all. I'd like to, but that's not my point of this. But there are so many new jobs, and I think I have talked about this in previous videos on my channel about school, because in reality, it's not just American school systems that suck. It's school in general that suck. Like, I'll show you this other video here. There was this whole little video. It was this little rap by Boy in a Band that was 6 years ago, called "Don't Stay in School." If you've seen it, cool. But I'm gonna show you. Someone reacted to it 2 months ago, but I'm gonna show it to you and tell you why I think it is the best representation of why school system, in a general sense, it's not just America, sucks. Now watch. This came out in 2015.
I wasn't taught how to get a job, but I can remember dissecting a frog. I wasn't taught how to pay tax, but I know loads about Shakespeare's classics. I was never taught how to vote. They devoted that time to defining isotopes. I wasn't taught how to look after my health, but mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Never spent a lesson on current events. Instead, I studied the old American West. I was never taught what laws there are. I was never taught what laws there are. Let me repeat, I was not taught the laws for the country I live in, but I know how Henry VIII killed his women. Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded, survived. Glad that's in my head instead of financial advice. I was shown the wavelengths of different hues of light, but I was never taught my human rights. Apparently there's 30. Do you know them? I don't. Why the hell can't we both recite them by rote? I know igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary rocks, yet I don't know squat about trading stocks or how money works at all. Where does it come from? How does the thing that motivates the world function? Not taught to budget and disperse my earnings. I was too busy there rehearsing cursive. Didn't learn how much it costs to raise a kid and what an affidavit is, but I spent days on what the quadratic equation is. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. They made me learn facts over basic first aid, or how to recognize the most deadly mental disorders or diseases with preventable causes, or how to buy a house with a mortgage if I could afford it, because abstract maths was deemed more important than advice that would literally save thousands of lives. But it's cool, because now I can tell you if the number of unnecessary deaths caused by that choice was prime. Never taught present-day practical medicines, but I was told what the ancient Hippocratic method is. I've got a headache, the pain is ceaseless, what should I take? Maybe try some leeches? Could we discuss domestic abuse and get the facts, or how to help my depressed friend with a mental state? No, but learn mental maths, because you won't have a calculator with you every day. They say it's not the kids, the parents are the problem. Then if you taught the kids to parent, that's the problem solved then. All this advice about using a condom, but not for when you actually have a kid when you want one. I'm only fluent in this language, for serious, the rest of the world speaks too. Do you think I'm an idiot? You chose to solo over the political system, so like a typical citizen, now I don't know what I'm voting on, which policies exist or how to make them change. Mais oui, je parle un peu de français. So at 18 I was expected to elect a representative for a system I had never ever been presented with. But I won't take it. I'll tell everyone my childhood was wasted. I'll share it everywhere how I was educated, and insist these pointless things don't stay in school.
Now I'm going to stick with this section, this little thing right here. If you can't explain why a subject is accessible to most people's lives, that subject should not be mandatory. Now, I'm not saying introducing it in a small little bit, like, here, we're going to teach you a little bit of algebra in this year, and, like, we're going to teach you, and here's a list of the different jobs you could get. Let's take the time to learn what those jobs entail and see if that's a job you want and if you want to continue doing those classes. That's how that should work. But I think that just stays up on this. Introduce topics. Yes. Introduce those topics. Yes. No. Back. Pause. Pause. Play. Pause. It says, introduce those topics, but we should choose if we want to learn them. Nobody should be forced to learn something that isn't... That's it. Nobody should be forced to learn something that isn't practically useful. Like, if I was out hiking alone, or I decided to go off into the woods one day just to get out, clear my mind, and I got seriously hurt, like I tripped, fell, and hurt myself, and I didn't have my phone, I'd have no way of calling for help, I'd probably die. So, not learning the things that could keep me alive in a situation like that, like if they have to extend school to teach you all these things, then I think yes. Or just remove the complete garbage and everything. Like, let's continue here. There's a couple seconds left, but that's a share has a. So, there's also another video that I want to find, and then I will shrink myself back down again. And I gotta quickly run down, throw laundry in, and and all that. I'm staying up a little bit later tonight. But there's another one. It was by Prince EA. Okay, there was one on the school system. It was one that I watched 1 year before going into school, saying that this is something that should be done. There's 2 videos I want to show. I'm going to open up one of them in a new tab, and I'm going to quickly go through, hit pause on that. Then we'll show one of them. Pause. Okay, then I'm going to open up this one. I'm going to hit pause so I can then, okay, there we go. So, the first one I'm going to show you has to do with, actually, I'll just show you, I'll give you a little brief thing. It's just showing examples of how things change, but the school system hasn't. But watch.
Albert Einstein once said, everybody's a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today on trial we have modern day schooling. Glad you could come. Not only does he make fish climb trees, but also makes them climb down and do a 10-mile run. Tell me, school, are you proud of the things you've done? Turning millions of people into robots, do you find that fun? Do you realize how many kids relate to that fish? Swimming upstream in class, never finding their gifts, thinking they are stupid, believing they are useless? Well, the time has come, no more excuses. I call school to the stand and accuse him of killing creativity, individuality, and being intellectually abusive. He's an ancient institution that has outlived his usage. So, Your Honor, this concludes my opening statement, and if I may present the evidence of my case, I will prove it.
Proceed.
Exhibit A. Here's a modern day phone. Recognize it? Here's a phone from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Stay with me. Here's a car from today, and here's a car from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Well, get this. Here's a classroom of today, and here's a class we used 150 years ago. Now, ain't that a shame? In literally more than a century, nothing has changed. Yet you claim to prepare students for the future? But with evidence like that, I must ask, do you prepare students for the future or the past? I did a background check on you and let the record show that you were made to train people to work in factories, which explains why you put students in straight rows, nice and neat, tell them sit still, raise your hand if you want to speak, give them a short break to eat, and for 8 hours a day, tell them what to think. Oh, and make them compete to get an A letter which determines product quality, hence grade A of meat. I get it. Back then, times were different. We all have a past. I myself am no Gandhi. But today, we don't need to make robot zombies. The world has progressed. And now we need people who think creatively, innovatively, critically, independently, with the ability to connect. See, every scientist will tell you that no two brains are the same. And every parent with 2 or more children will confirm that claim. So please explain why you treat students like cookie cutter frames or snapback hats, giving them this one-size-fits-all crap.
Watch your legs.
Sorry, Your Honor, but if a doctor prescribed the exact same medicine to all of his patients, the results would be tragic. So many people would get sick, yet when it comes to school, this is exactly what happens, this educational malpractice, where one teacher stands in front of 20 kids, each one having different strengths, different needs, different gifts, different dreams, and you teach the same thing the same way? That's horrific. Ladies and gentlemen, the defendant should not be acquitted. This may be one of the worst criminal offenses ever to be committed. And let's mention the way you treat your employees.
Objection. Overruled. I want to hear this.
It's a shame. I mean, teachers have the most important job on the planet, yet they're underpaid? No wonder so many students are short-changed. Let's be honest. Teachers should earn just as much as doctors, because a doctor can do heart surgery and save the life of a kid, but a great teacher can reach the heart of that kid and allow him to truly live. See, teachers are heroes that often get blamed, but they're not the problem. They work in a system without many options or rights. Curriculums are created by policymakers, most of which have never taught a day in their life, just obsessed with standardized tests. They think crude to be used and should be abandoned. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if we continue down this road, the results will be lethal. I don't have much faith in school, but I do have faith in people. And if we can customize healthcare, cars, and Facebook pages, then it is our duty to do the same for education, to upgrade it, change it, do away with school spirit, because that's useless unless we're working to bring the spirit out of each and every student. That should be our task. No more Common Core. Instead, let's reach the core of every heart in every class. Sure, math is important, but no more than art or dance. Let's give every gift an equal chance. I know this sounds like a dream, but countries like Finland are doing impressive things. They have shorter school days. Teachers make a decent wage. Homework is non-existent, and they focus on collaboration instead of competition. But here's the kicker, boys and girls. Their educational system outperforms every other country in the world. Other places like Singapore are succeeding rapidly. Schools like Montessori, programs like Khan Academy, there is no single solution. But let's get moving, because while students may be 20% of our population, they are 100% of our future. So let's attend to their dreams, and there's no telling what we can achieve. This is a world in which I believe, a world where fish are no longer forced to climb trees. I rest my case.
Hey guys. Okay. So, oh, my cousin messaged me. As you were saying, is a school system is outdated. The way things have been done have only been slightly changed in the amount of extra classes there are to take and the way things are taught to the student, but the core fundamental, like, stuff that's taught at its core, you're still sitting in a classroom like that, and you're told to raise your hand, do this, do that. Like, I'm glad to have had something like Osterbosi's where I could learn something I wanted to learn in a way that the teacher could teach me the way he wanted to teach me. There was slight stuff he had to do that he didn't want to have to do it and thought it was ridiculously stupid and agreed with us. But my butt's hurting. Sorry, my butt hurt. But in a way, he was still technically able to have his own choice and free will of what and how he taught his stuff. There was some things he had to teach and was required to teach stuff, but it was all in science, stuff like that. It had to do with what we were learning, and it was to prepare us for, if we wanted to do this class, it was to prepare us, to show us, this is what you can do, this is how much fun you can have. And I enjoyed it, and I love messing around. What I learned to do in that class was to mess around using MIDI for video games, to make music, to mess around with music and make remixes and MIDI, and to have a good time. That is what I learned. I didn't learn what I would learn in any other class. I learned life skills that I was taught and honed. And you don't learn that in an outdated system. Now, this is the second video that I want to show you. So I'm going to show you this video now.
What is school for? Feel free to call me slow, but I spent 16 years going to school, and I still don't know. When I finished, I didn't know how to do my own taxes, purchase a home, or apply for a loan. I didn't know a thing about investments, building credit, or getting a job. I graduated at the top of my class, and what did I have? This fancy diploma to sit at home with my mom. But luckily, they did teach me some important skills like factoring trinomials and how mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. I'm so happy I remember the Pythagorean theorem, because it helped me a lot. Okay, I'm lying. Let me stop. Because all the stuff they taught me, truthfully, I forgot. Mom, remember when you would ask me, what did you learn in school today? And I would say, nothing much. I wasn't being modest. The truth about it, Mom, is I had already forgotten. And it's not just me. Millions of students sing the same song. How many of you guys avoid eye contact with the teacher to try not to get caught upon? Afraid to raise your hand for fear of being wrong, which proves that school isn't an environment for learning or building up the intellect. It's just a game you play for grades and how many A's you can collect. But I guess what do you expect when the most commonly asked question in class is this gonna be on the test? Is this gonna be on the test? See, if school put learning instead of testing and memorizing as the top standard, then the letter F would not stand for failure. It would stand for find another answer. And if school was really interested in our personal and academic success, students would wake up later, have more freedom and homework, a lot less. And that's not my opinion. This conclusion has been scientifically tested and proven. And any teacher that doesn't believe me, feel free to check my works cited page to inspect. Oh, and I did it in MLA format because I know that's all you will accept. See, students would get more benefit from an extra hour of sleep than putting them through the torture of an extra essay, reading 150 pages, doing problems 1 through 60 on the worksheet, and having 3 projects due by the end of the week. Not only is it pointless pain, but it's also dim-witted. Because we get so much work, but they don't teach the time management skills to deal with it. See, in school, we are controlled by bells. We have to learn in rooms with the feng shui of a prison cell. We have to ask permission to relieve bodily functions, but not before the teacher asks a million questions like, why didn't you go before class? I'm sorry, my bladder is kind of on its own schedule and it's not always timely. See, teachers always say, use your time wisely. But that never made sense to me. Because these 6 cruel hours of our lives we call school might literally be the worst use of time management ever in history. Think about it. The traditional teaching method is foolish. No, it's useless, multiplied by the square root of stupid. What they do is they cram information in your head, force feeding you, and then you throw it up on the test. That's not education. That's bulimia. And the more bulimic you are, the better you will do on their assessments. So it's no wonder why so many students graduate mentally and emotionally anorexic. See, school teaches you how to memorize dots. True education should teach you how to connect them. True education teaches you how to catch a fish. School teaches you, yeah, you caught the fish, but you didn't show your work, so it doesn't count. Throw it back. I'm just asking, what is school for? It's not education. That's just not true. If you still think that, you might be sniffing glue. See, the word education comes from the Latin root educe, meaning bring out, i.e. bring the gifts out of a person and make them viable. But school doesn't bring out much. It just stuffs more facts inside of you. Now, some of that stuff is justifiable. We need reading, writing, and some arithmetic. That's fair. But are you telling me metamorphic and igneous rocks are more important than self-care? If suicide is the 3rd leading cause of death of ages 10 to 24, and Harvard studies suggest the biggest predictor for success is self-control and emotional health, then why the heck aren't we taught how to handle stress, bullies, or rejection? How about anxiety or depression? You know, skills we need for our entire lives. Bro, I don't even know how to cook. I'm honestly surprised I'm still alive. But hey, at least I can name all the battles that happened in the Civil War. Seriously, what is school for? Some say you need it to be successful, and that's something we do not doubt. But do you own a MacBook or iPhone? Did you know they both were created by a dropout? Are you watching this video on Facebook or YouTube? Doesn't matter which you choose, they both were created by dropouts. Ever use Snapchat, WhatsApp, shopped at Whole Foods? Well, thank a dropout. Does your home furniture come from IKEA? Okay, don't get the wrong idea. He was not a dropout. Don't be a fool. I mean, how could he drop out? Ingvar Kamprad, founder of IKEA, never even went to school. I know what you're thinking. He's just picking and choosing. There's millions who didn't go to school that aren't successful. Who is he fooling? And you're right. But open your history books and start perusing. You'll find the very people we idolize in school never really had formal and/or secondary schooling. I'm talking George Washington, Abe Lincoln. America's best presidents had zero school between them. Ben Franklin, Thomas Edison, shall I proceed? Ernest Hemingway, Mark Twain, Teddy Roosevelt, Margaret Mead. Now please, I'm not saying drop out, because some schools are great and many teachers are rare treasures. I'm saying that there's a difference between people who are smart and people who score better. I'm saying that your future is something that no test will ever measure. Even if that test begins in 3 letters like SAT, ACT, it's BS if they say those determine your LIFE. No, your destiny is in your hands. You must shape it to be great. So don't expect school to open doors, because it's more likely to slam them in your face. Sometimes I wonder about all the dreams lost in school and how much potential goes to waste. If it wasn't for music and YouTube, then I would have been just another lost case. Everybody watching this, please, close your eyes. Imagine a child sitting in the back of some teacher's class in some town. He never raises his hand, he fails most of his classes, but inside of him, there is a passion. And if nurtured and brought out, will lead him to discover the cure for cancer. But you see, I'm afraid that child's gift will never come out. He will never win the Nobel Prize award because in class he was ignored and his worth was judged only by his scores. So teachers, principals, parents, advisors, and students, I ask one more time, what is school for?
I know my camera for some reason went out. I don't know if I'm still alive. Yeah, I'm still alive. My camera froze. Again. My camera froze. So I guess we're just not gonna have a camera. Again, my camera decided to go out again. Okay, just look at the freeze frame while I talk. He was too close on upward halved. It was a joke, dude. Kind of thing, like. What I'm saying is that is the school system. I don't care. I don't know. My camera isn't seeming to want to work for some strange and odd reason. I don't know why. Maybe I can open up my photo booth, get my camera to work there, and then project that there. For some reason, no, my camera doesn't want to work. Aha! I got my camera to work by opening up photo booth. Actually, that is cool. So now I'm back. Okay. But in both, he was saying that if school was meant to teach you things, you wouldn't be doing tests. All I did was more worry about a test. And, like, the Regents, midterms, finals, and then what I wanted to do in life. But once I got to the point where it was what I wanted to learn in 11th, 12th grade, I wasn't so much worried about a test. For most of my classes, like, most of my day was listening to music, writing, and I miss going to Bosie's. I really do. And that time was cut short by a pandemic, and I really do just want to say that it's great. It was a privilege to be in that class and the friends and have the friends that I do, because otherwise I don't know where I'd be in life, because I was mainly bullied in school. And they say, oh, we're all against bullying, but nothing was done. Stuff was told to teachers. Teachers told students to stop. They didn't stop. That was it. Never went anywhere further. I've been bullied since I had to do first grade twice because of my disabilities, but I'm not the only one, but I was bullied from then all the way pretty much up till I graduated. It got a little bit easier in the last 2 years, but 2018 was the worst year, and you're lucky enough I am even alive at this point, but yeah. I just wanted to show you guys that this is, in any form here in America, this is why the education system sucks. We seem to prioritize school as important sometimes and not important as other times. If it was important, we'd have them open during a pandemic. We would have the schools be able to teach the things that need to be taught for real life and give the kids the options to learn the other things they need to know. Because guess what? We're not learning political parties and who's running for the next running for this upcoming election. Like, I think kids, once they hit 7th grade, should start to learn about current events. Like, yeah, it's good to know about the past and all that. Like, you can teach that in, like, 7th grade or so, but it's just, I felt like a lot of my life was being wasted in school, that I just was miserable. Yeah, I can be miserable sometimes out of school with work, but at least with work, it's go to work, come home, and then do what I want, and not have to worry, I got this to do, I got that to do. Like, I worry, I got laundry to do, I got this to do, but it's on my own little schedule and stuff like that. I'm not worried about things like homework. And not that I had very many of it in school, I didn't. But I'm just saying, like, I was more worried about, I can't do this when I get home, I got this to do, that to do. And what I'm saying is, it's just to the point where the school system right now, even virtual, is the only difference. Otherwise, if this pandemic didn't happen, school would look exactly 100% the same as it has always looked. And I'm being serious. Like, you can't slap technology into a kid's hand and call it new. You can't. And I think using virtual reality, video games, would be a cool way of teaching kids how to do certain things in life. Like, they should make a version of Minecraft specifically for the purposes of teaching, not education, but they could do like education, survival edition, where they teach, like, it has a very extent survival mode that is like very realistic to real life and everything. I think that should be something that could be taught, and there's a lot of things I think that should be taught that aren't taught in schools. And I think that with the ever-changing world we're in, less and less of the things that I enjoyed during school are going to be able to be learned, for like going to BOCES and learning the classes I learned. and doing film. Like, my brother's going to do film history, which is a cool class, learning about movies. You get to watch and learn about movies, stuff like that. I think it's really cool. I do think my brother should take the time to do a film class because it's fun. You get to run around with the camera, you get to create scripts. It's awesome. And I just feel bad for kids with a pandemic going on and being someone who went through the beginning of the pandemic when the schools didn't know what they were doing with online, graduating the way I did, and everything. Like, and I'm saying is this is one of my best live streams with the best content. Besides the little parts where I was probably talking to one of my friends, but who I haven't talked to in a while. But all I'm saying is that the school system right now, as is out of date and needs to be updated to fit people's lives, and not just slap some more technology. I mean, you need to have more time where students can learn things they want to learn. Now, there are schools for doing that, but they're more private schools that cost money. And if anything, I would suggest going, even if you're not the brightest person, I would recommend going up until you get to, say, first grade, looking up, like, if you're a Christian or you want something, look up for homeschools, do it like a virtual school, do it from home. That way, once they hit a certain grade, you can teach them everything that you want to teach them. And I think states should be lenient on tests and all that and let you teach the way you should teach. Because if I was going to teach my kids, I would tell them, hey, you want to sit, play Minecraft? You want to do a little bit of research? Here, look at this if you want to be a YouTuber. What do you want to do when you grow up? Look at this. If you want to be your own boss when you grow up, look at the benefits. I'll tell you what the... I'll even look at them with you, like I did with the YouTube thing. In that YouTube video, for why YouTube sucks and be a job, like I wanted it as my job type thing, like that. Like that is a whole legit reason and argument to do. So, what I'm saying is, I'm just saying that this is how I see the world. And basically, the United States education system is the future. And to me, if I didn't watch the things I did on YouTube, have the parents I have, I would not, and the church that I go to, I would not believe what I believe at all. And if it wasn't for believing in God and having Him, I would not be able to tell you these things where there's issues in this country, and we need to have a president that will work on education for students. And I think that people, like, I'm saying, like, we need someone like Kanye West as president. We also need another, and then the other type of president we need is someone who's basically spent their whole life getting, and excuse my language, crapped on by rich people like me, somebody who's like me, who's been poor most of their life, not having much, who knows what it's like to struggle and try to make ends meet for real, not a politician that lies about that when they've been in the position of making money for most of their dang life, that they don't know what a real paycheck looks like, living paycheck to paycheck. And when we can get a politician like that, I think that's who I will 100% vote for, because, and regardless of what side they're on, or like it's regardless of what side they're on, but policy wise and stuff like that, I have to see. But otherwise, they will be on my top watch list at least, and everything. And I think that the way schools have handled a lot of this pandemic has been just incorrect and not the best, because in 7th grade, the 7th graders go to Washington, D.C. to go and look at the Smithsonian and see a lot of historical stuff after learning about the United States, at least in my school. And a lot of schools do this. They go there at some point. But my brother was supposed to go. He's looking forward to it. This pandemic rolls around. They're talking about doing it or not doing it. They decide to not do it. And I was really ticked off. I was like, that's not fair to the kids that looked forward to this because their brother or sister got to go on this. And it was very close to my own birthday that I didn't even get to really enjoy my gift. And I purchased myself that Monday before I left a Nintendo 3DS. I did not get to do what I would have liked. We did not get to look at the Smithsonian that much, due to one student getting lost from us and having to find them, and being that the movie exhibit, which I wanted to go and see, and we were going to go and see it because a lot of people thought it would be cool to go and look at all the stuff like the gloves from Rocky, Michael Jackson's glove and jacket. Like, we did get to see a few things like Cookie Mon. I think it was Cookie Monster and stuff like that. Like, some things that were pretty cool, but overall, they were working on it, and I was like, dang. But otherwise, the trip was good, but my brother will never get to experience that. And I think it's just stuff like, because when I was in 4th grade, we used to learn about the New York State and the history of the state and stuff. And then we went to Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty. I did that. I do not have the photos because they are on a computer that will no longer turn on. There's a way to get it off, but it's very difficult. I got 5 minutes left before I'm going to go down, throw my laundry in, so I don't have to stay up too late. I'm going to church tomorrow, but I'm saying that there's a lot of stuff that is going on that, I mean, it's to the point where I don't know why we're not doing, and I think that these students not being able to go there or do these trips is just, and I know it was a pandemic, but my brother not going when he was in 4th grade, I think is just not right, and they're not learning the same things I learned. The curriculum has changed slightly, but not that much, but I feel that it's just like, what the heck? What is going on? Like, it really does seem like kids are going on less field trips to places, and to be honest, and not going down there. I thought that was the coolest thing, because you got to look at this thing. It was like called Facebook, where there was a bunch of people that came in Ellis Island, and you got to look at their like faces, and I thought it was the coolest thing. I got to hang out with my friends, take photos, and it was just awesome. I do have a few photos from when I went to Washington, D.C., but I did have a class where it was the most amazing trip. I went to a New York Mets game. That's one of my favorite teams because of that trip. I enjoyed that, and it was because of a paper we did. Now, most classes wouldn't be able to go and do those trips, but I thought it was the most awesome trip to go on, and we got to go eat out. The teacher bought us food. I thought it was the coolest thing. I've had some cool teachers in school that did things that weren't on the curriculum, and they were okay to do these things. And it was awesome. And I'm never going, and that allowed me to go to multiple different games with my family, just me and my dad, and it was amazing. And I'm never going to forget those teachers at all, because they've shaped who I am, and I just can't thank them enough. And if they ever saw this video, they'd be probably the most proud out of anything to see who I become. And some of them that come into work have said hello to me and knew it was me. All they gotta do is hear my voice once and they recognize me and know it's me. Now, not always do all of them say hello all the time, but sometimes I'm just trying to be quiet and do my job and get out of there. It's gonna be hectic sometimes, but I just think that it's amazing to see things like that, and to see where this country's going is just sad. That what kids are being taught that they shouldn't be taught, and the things that they should be taught, like, I don't know. You guys can comment below. I know this is like a 2-hour stream that I've done, and I usually don't do 2 hours, but I was showing you guys videos, and I basically showed you videos of what Joe Biden has been saying about schools and other things that have been said during this week. And basically during this week, it was said that teachers are the most important people. But apparently they're not important enough to have in-person learning. They're not essential because they are not doing in-person learning. So there you guys go. Why the American school system sucks. The rap was someone from the UK talking about knowing about the research on the American school system and his stuff. But you know what? I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I gotta go throw some of my laundry and so I have clothes for tomorrow. But peace.